Hello, you beautiful kings and queens out there. My name is Brianna Janae, and I am tuning back in for another video. I have been called to share my experience about social work, and I damn near didn't even realize how traumatizing it was being like in the depth of my career when I was. How traumatizing it was and how debilitating it was to experience a whole boatload of other people's trauma on top of dealing with co-workers and organizations that added to stress and added to irritation and frustration while in the midst of trying to do something good. So I no longer want to claim being this because I'm not. I don't plan on going back in the path of that. But I used to be a social worker. At the age of 13, I told myself that I wanted to be an advocate, and that was the direction that I directed all my determination and motivation into. And unfortunately, I'm just now, not unfortunately, but I am now realizing that doing that and the way that I did it, now mind you, I was still only a kid when I made this decision. That was a path. I literally committed to a path of abandoning myself to fuel and give all of me to other people. And yes, that can be a dope ass thing sometimes. That can be so selfless, so honoring, so like wow, like you're deciding to put other people's needs before your own, or you're deciding to sacrifice, some of your own pleasures and things like that to go out there and help people. But quickly you realize when you get into the system of it all, it's a toxic, demeaning, horrible loop of trauma, not being appreciated, constant burnout. And the biggest thing is vicarious trauma, which is being traumatized by other people's trauma, by them either telling you or you constantly experiencing it by trying to help them. And that was unfortunately my story. And I keep saying unfortunately, but honestly, it taught me a lot of things. It taught me that's not my area. And although there's a fiery determination in me to always commit to something that I set my mind to and finish that, if I continue to be a social worker, I would continue to be dishonoring myself first before other people. And now that I started my healing journey and I've gotten to where I am now, I now realize how much more I can give and how much more helpful I can be to people by first serving myself and then giving from the overflow of love that I have for myself. And it's not to point fingers at myself at all. It's just something I learned recently is that I was innocently trying to receive something, i.e., validation, i.e., being being this figure for another person that I felt that person might need. It was really something that I needed and I was missing within myself. And innocently, I set out on a journey to seek that out by giving away everything before giving to myself. And no, I guess there could be a period of guilt. For me, it was probably maybe a moment of like maybe 20-30 minutes, but everyone is different and everybody works through their problems in their own time. But I was able to be like, wow, okay, I was seeking a person to be there for me that I felt that I needed, and I tried to become that for someone else first. But what I needed to do was become that for myself. And honestly, in the space that I was trying to help from and give from wasn't helpful to other people. I may have had positive impacts in people's lives and like did things to help them in those moments, and that was very helpful for them. But honestly, like, it wasn't from a place of, here I am, I know that I'm loved, I know that I'm filled up in my own cup of self-care, of self-love, of self-worthiness, and I'm going to give from that place. But in the space that I was in, I was giving from a broken, empty cup that was fragile and broken and deteriorated. And it was from a place of thinking that was going to put my cup back together. And it was like, no, that giving from that space is not helpful at all to anyone. It's really honestly a disservice, is because there's an innocent ulterior motive to why you're giving. And it's not you're not truly giving from a place of love, of a place of wanting to help. Because behind it all, you might be saying that, yes, but within and from within, that's not what is there. And you are blindly seeking, unconsciously seeking a fulfillment within yourself that you think that becomes like this conscious effort to fill that, even though you kind of like blindly do it and you don't really know about it because you are not aware that is what you are seeking, or you are doing it in the name of sacrificing and being helpful and advocating for someone else. And that's really tough to hear, and it's not easy to accept, and I know that. And it took me a while to understand that, to even get to the point of being aware that I was doing that. But it was the truth. And social work, the way the system has set up social work, needs to completely be demolished. Honestly, it is not set up in a way of helping at all. it is also contributing to this cycle of keeping people where they are and not really helping them to heal and move on and go past things. It's almost like you are helping someone stay in the area that they're at, mentally, sometimes physically, and there's literally sometimes nothing you can do about it, because like all odds are stacked against this person, and or all these systems, this person isn't qualified, this person doesn't have enough money, this person isn't mentally ready to go where the next step for them is. And it's like the whole system is botched, and the whole system, there are stories where there's help, but there's so much more bad than there is good. And the whole social work system is like a massive entity thing in its own self. So to completely demolish it and change it and make it better, it feels impossible. But I have hope that things will get fixed and things will change, or that there will be a system that will come around to that will actually help. I still have dreams and aspirations of helping and putting out programs and creating things on my own that I know that I'm in charge of, and I know that will be sacred and be from a space of actually helping someone and be beneficial in helping someone without all the workplace drama and the entity problems of organizations coming up against each other, trying to compete for a person's time. Like, it's just crazy the amount of things that happened in that 1 year of me being in social work. And that's not even like, that was my career part. I haven't even like touched the surface of what happened in my internship. Like, that was traumatizing and super sad for me too. But yeah, it's a lot. And I guess my message would just be to encourage you to become aware of the space in which you're giving from. Are you giving from your cup and it's empty and broken and pieced out, like laid out piece by piece, and you are needing someone to come and pick up those pieces? Or are you completely fulfilled and you know yourself and you are completely healed within yourself and you're given from that space? Yeah, that would be my word of encouragement for you. Using the past systems to give now in this day and age is not sustainable anymore, and it is no longer something that I want to be a part of. It's like being a part of those systems is like taking one step, maybe two steps forward, but like 30 steps back at the same time. Because it's like, for those two people that you help, there was someone who got burnt out, someone who someone who's being picked on by their coworkers, someone who is pretending like they are there to help, but they are not, i.e. the people that are in the field of social work, but they hate the people that they are there to serve, i.e. mostly like the in care home people that take on the job for the money and take on the job because they think it's easy, or that they can bully this person who's suffering from mental disability or physical disability. It's like they just take on that job because, like, oh, I'll just make money and I'll just do whatever I want. But they literally they end up abusing the person or neglecting the person, or just not even allowing the person to have fun and just have a daily life because they're doing their own thing and they're not really there to truly help that person. There's also dealing with restrictions of the organization, what you can and can't do, how you can and can't help, the extent of which you can extend your own service to a person, and what capacity you can operate in. It's so limiting, and it's so like, it just feels like this feeling of like contraction and it just like keep pressing you down and pressing you down, and it's like, okay, I help a person and then maybe I'll help another person, but then when you return to the office, oh, this and this and this and this, and don't even fucking get me started, I'm sorry, don't even get me started on paperwork. Like, I was not even prepared for the amount of paperwork that I was going to encounter going into that job. That in its own was freaking traumatizing. And just the stacking up of paper on top of spending a minimum amount of hours with at least 10 different people. Spending 30 hours with at least 10 different people. I don't even get to spend 30 hours with myself in a day. How am I giving 30 hours to 10 different people in a week? Like, that's beyond insane. That's beyond inhumane. Like, what? How? I just began to not understand how so many people expected you to give up so much of your own time to go and give to other people. And I know, if what's coming up for me is that I know that there is a sacrifice that is required when you are helping. But if your cup is full and you are fully full in healing and love within yourself, it won't feel like a sacrifice. It honestly probably won't even be a sacrifice, because it's from a good place. It's from a fulfilled place that you're giving from, and you're not expecting something back in return, i.e., thank you, or wow, you did such an amazing job. Oh wow, you're gonna get a promotion right now because you serve this person. It's like, serving a person and helping a person should always be selfless. There should not be an expectation to receive something in return. And that is why, if you are, like I keep saying, if you are fulfilled in your own self and you know how much you love yourself and you are full of love, you will automatically give what is needed and not need anything in return to fulfill anything within you, because you are already fulfilled within yourself. Let me see if there's anything else I want to touch on. It can truly be hard to experience people, so specifically because social work is such a wide variety. It's such a huge range of what you can get into, and that is honestly why I got into it when I did. It was because, like, there's so many areas that I can go into, and I can go back go to school or take a class or whatever and then move into something else if I felt like I wanted to change or switch, yada yada. But my specific field was what I went into first was mental and physical disability, and like the person had mental and physical disability. So interacting most of the day with a person who is physically and mentally disabled was also not sustainable for my own mental health, because having there's a point where you can sustain it, but having to constantly for so many hours be with so many different people who only have a limited world and a limited space of thinking because of their disability is hard, and it doesn't allow for you to be you and expand within you, because you have to limit yourself so much to be understandable and to hold space for that person, because they are in need of your help, because they don't have the capacity. And to constantly be around person after person after person after person for so many hours in a day was not great. And in some ways it was fulfilling, because it's like, okay, like I'm helping. But long term it's not, and it kind of takes a mental breakdown of your communication with full functioning people and who have the full capacity to have a conversation with you. You almost feel incapable in some points of having those conversations because you've limited yourself so much in communicating with another person. And I say all this to say, like, I hope that this isn't coming off as complaining or being ungrateful, because all the experiences that I did have were truly life lessons. I truly am grateful that I did experience those. I'm truly grateful for the people that I did impact and that I did help in some instances. But like I said, it's that whole idea of that two steps forward and 30 steps back. And it is not a life that is for me. That is not fulfilling. It's not sustainable for a human being at all. And that system needs a radical change. It needs some help. And kudos to anyone who is still in the thick of that and in the midst of everything that they're experiencing, whether it's funny coworkers who don't really like you but they're pretending to, or the bosses who are being super controlling and not empathetic, or coming up and clashing with other organizations who want the same person's time as you do, or they want you to fulfill certain duties to a certain extent that just are like not humanly possible. I feel you. I feel for you. And all I can say is I hope that you come to a space of understanding within yourself where you can be better. And whether that's staying in the field or completely shifting and doing something completely different. Yeah. I send you hope and healing and love. And although there's a piece of me that hurts to let social work go, I know that it's for the best. I honestly, truly did fall in love with social work, and I honestly, truly did, in my younger mind, believe that I was going to be this super rock star helper and advocate for so many people. Mostly kids is what I wanted in the beginning. I wanted to be an advocate for kids. But I'm on a different path now. And I'm honestly excited for where that path takes me. But I do also know that that path will include helping, and in the capacity that I can help, and from the space within that is over full of love, and that the place in which I am giving from and choosing to help is a place of fulfillment that I already have within myself. And so I know that it's going to be even more helpful and successful for the people that I do encounter and impact in this life, and showing them God's love. That is beautiful, and I'm so excited to take that journey, be in the midst of that journey. Yeah. That was a lot to share. I'm just now realizing how heavy that was for me, and how I kind of just glossed over it because my life completely got turned upside down and went completely left from what I thought it was going to be. And I was just called away from that field so quickly after leaving the first job I had in social work. But yeah, I'm super grateful. I'm grateful for you if you get to see this video, if you have stayed tuned this far. I wish you nothing but wellness. I wish you nothing but love and encouragement and hope. And yeah, you are beautiful. You are worthy. You are loved. And if you are going through it and trying to make the decision if you want to stay or not, just know that you are loved, and just follow your heart, because your heart will lead you on the path of fulfillment, honestly. If you tune into the right frequency of your heart, your heart will lead you where you are meant to go and what is most fulfilling for you. So thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for listening to my advice. Of course, take what resonate. I want to say resonates, and not a lot of people know what that. But take what feels good for you and what makes sense to you. And if other parts didn't make sense to you or don't sit right with you, you just let that go. And just let it float away. And just know that it may not be meant for you in this time or ever. And that's okay. But much love. Yeah, please like the video. Leave a comment. And subscribe if you feel like you want to hear more from me. I'm more into spirituality stuff, sharing messages from spirit and stuff like that. But I did want to just briefly talk about my social work experience. Well, spirit called me to talk about my social work experience. So, yeah. Thank you so much. And for all people who are subscribed or tuning into my spirituality content, I will see you in the next one. And for all those who are not, much love to you, much love in your life.